and thanks so much for joining us on After GMS at 7:45 on Monday, November 9th. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Tracy McCain here with Megan Malaris, Stacey Spivey, and Ed Matthews.
And I had to move to the side because I was covering up the always beautiful and handsome
He's
Ed
glowing.
Matthews. He's glowing in basking in this gorgeous weather he's giving us again today before he tells you the bad news.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm kind of surprised. There's not a cloud in the sky at the moment. However, I think later today we'll start to see a few more clouds, and then late today and tonight there could even be a shower. But I'm forecasting 73, but with enough sunshine, easily a 75 or a 76 in a few spots. Enjoy it, because the trend will be for the clouds to build and the chances of rain to increase. We got a cold front that's now out in the Midwest. It'll move our way and then really slow down as it moves in to the Carolinas and Virginia. That'll bring in some rain showers late Tuesday and then really ramp up the chance of measurable rain for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Kind of a prolonged wet period for the Piedmont, because we think that the front will definitely slow down, and we couldn't even rule out maybe it's stalling briefly over central or eastern North Carolina. Good news is we stay well above normal right on through Thursday, and then we'll cool it back a little bit into the 60s by Friday and the weekend.
All right, we want to get to some big news in the race for a vaccine for COVID-19. In just the last hour, Pfizer published new data about its vaccine and its effectiveness. So Stacey is digging into the research, and what are they saying about it, Stace?
Well, they're saying that researchers actually say the vaccine is 90% effective at preventing COVID-19 in the final stages of clinical trials. Pfizer says the news offers hope, but there's still more work to do and data to crunch as they finish up a trial with more than 44,000 participants. If this effectiveness rate holds, Pfizer could apply for emergency use and start distributing the vaccine next month. A reminder, this is just one of 3 major vaccines in the final stages of clinical trials. More are expected to be in development early next year. So now that we're seeing clinical trial results, are you ready for a vaccine? Go ahead and let us know in our Facebook stream if you would be willing to go ahead and take one when one is available.
Yeah, we should also note that this is a 2-step vaccine, so you would have to get one vaccine and then 21 days later have to get the second one. And these are the vaccines that also have to be kept cool or in some type of refrigeration. So they have a lot of things to kind of get over in terms of hurdles, in terms of distributing the vaccine. But again, 100 million would be available if possible, but then the rest of the 300 million probably by next year. So wanted to make sure that y'all had all that to think about while answering Stacey's question. So I guess we'll get to it. I have to log back onto Facebook, guys. I got kicked out. So you guys take it.
Okay, we'll give you time to do that.
Thank you.
A lot of logistics on this vaccine front to work out, but I'm a vaccine proponent. I've said it before. I'm always typically one of the first in line to get the flu shot when it's available. So, I think I'd be open to the idea of getting the COVID vaccine. I am a little bit leery on the fact that this has all seemingly happened so fast, but then you have to remember that even though something like the flu shot has been around for a long time, that vaccine is essentially new every year as well, because researchers have to guess which strain is going to be most prevalent and then tailor the vaccine to that. That's why it doesn't always cover all strains of the flu every year, but it does at the very least lessen the severity of symptoms if you get sick. I would hope that the COVID vaccine would work the same way. Granted, I'd still want to read into the research a little bit more, depending on which vaccine makes it to market first. We know this is the Pfizer one, AstraZeneca also working on one, a few other companies as well, Moderna. Not just here in the U.S., Moderna, but also, in the U.K. They have some promising vaccines as well. So we'll have to see which one makes it to market first and what those logistics look like.
All right, Ed Matthews, I'm back on.
Hey, don't kick her out anymore, please.
I think I actually did it. It was user error.
Oh, there you go. Hey, I know all about that when it comes to computers and cell phones as well. I am so excited about this news. If I were a younger man, I would do several somersaults right out here in the Weather Garden. This is really, really good news. Pfizer is a great company. I feel confident that You know, they have gone through the trials and all that, and I say, hey, I'll get in line and get ready to get my shot for sure. You think the world is happy? The stock market, the U.S. stock market has not opened yet. It will open at 9:30 this morning. Stock futures are up over 1,500 points. That's the Dow Jones. The world is excited about this news.
All right, so the world might be, Stacey, but what are people saying on our feed here this morning?
Well, I don't know what it is about Facebook today, but I'm having issues with it too, Tracy. Actually, part of my comments just disappeared. I'm sitting here trying to find it. I do remember that one person, I think it was Dana, I believe, said that they travel for work, and so they would be willing to get a vaccine just because they need one to do their job. However, most people on our stream are saying no, not at this time. Anthony says no until I know that it will be safe. And then Brittany says, actually, if it's going to keep me from contracting it, yes, I would, as long as it's extremely safe. Nikita says, I'm nervous about it, but vaccines have eradicated disease, so probably so. She said, if I turn into a zombie, oh well, LOL.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to get your feedback. I think it is maybe 2 user error problems here this morning, but
probably
it's Monday. We can accept that. So it is interesting though, because the general in charge of Operation Warp Speed said on 60 Minutes last night that the shame would be that this vaccine would be available and people wouldn't take it. And he said that keeps him up at night is the fact that, you know, they can try to distribute this to as many people as possible, but the fact that, you know, an overwhelming number of Americans right now say that they don't trust it. So I think there needs to be some type of public service campaign to really, you know, get the word out, to encourage people, just like the flu shot, you know, ages ago. There are still public service campaigns, as a matter of fact, for people who are trying to get, you know, the flu shot or trying to trust it. So I think the FDA and the CDC and public service health officials have a lot of work to do to get Americans to trust it. But I think that just starts by, you know, making sure that they're out there pushing whatever message it is.
Right, as Ed said, stock futures are up today on this news of the vaccine. This is also the first day the markets have opened since the projected winner in the election. So let's talk about the election now in our morning headlines today. North Carolina now just one of 3 states where some experts have not projected a winner in the presidential race. That's because at least 95,000 absentee ballots are still outstanding and about 40,000 provisional ballots. State leaders have until November 12th to count all the absentees, postmarked by 5 p.m. election day, and then the certification is Friday. Despite this, President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris reached that needed 270 electoral college votes Saturday when experts called Pennsylvania for the Democratic ticket. Today, President-elect Joe Biden will name the members of his administration's COVID task force. The group of experts will lead the pandemic response in January. Tackling the pandemic was a key issue at the center of the Biden-Harris campaign.
Well, we are waiting to hear from President Donald Trump for the first time since the Associated Press and CBS News called the 2020 election. The president has tweeted about the results, but has not made a public speech since speaking at the White House Thursday night. Now, today there are no scheduled public events on the president's schedule, but we will keep you updated if that changes. Can you guys hear me okay? Everything okay?
I think I bumped my mic
Oh,
accidentally.
okay, just making sure. Here, let's get to some local news right now. Winston-Salem Forsyth County School kindergarten students will start in-person learning today. It comes a week after pre-K students returned. First graders are set to head back next week. The school board will discuss a reentry plan for students in all other grades later this month.
Well, this week, Guilford County school leaders will meet to discuss reentry plans. Originally, some students were set to switch to in-person learning last month, but that plan was delayed due to rising COVID numbers. The school board will meet tomorrow to discuss what's next.
All right, let's move on to a story that a lot of people are talking about, touching millions of people. Alex Trebek died early Sunday morning after battling pancreatic cancer. So Stacey, the tributes are pouring in. They are flooding social media, and for all the right reasons. A very respected man, not only in the gaming industry here, but just, you know, in the world as a person.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are still sad this morning. I mean, celebrities, politicians, fans of the show reacting on social media and just sharing the memories that they have of this legendary game host. It's a testament to his fight and his determination. He was filming new episodes until just a few weeks ago while battling cancer. So new episodes will run right here on WFMY until December. Let's check out to see what some people are saying online. Jed writes, an ever-present person in my life, many blessings to his family. And the Jeopardy account sharing this moment from a recent episode when a contestant shared the story that growing up in India, he learned English watching Alex Trebek and Jeopardy episodes. I remember seeing that video. It was very touching. So tell us, do you have a favorite Jeopardy or Alex Trebek memory? Please let us know in the comments. You know, I was just trying to think back about my earliest memories of watching Jeopardy, and I always did at my dad's parents' house. Both of which have passed away, and my papa has actually, he just passed away last year, so still kind of fresh on the mind, but being at their house and watching Jeopardy, I just have so many precious memories of that. And so, you know, Alex Trebek has just been a part of my life since I was little, and I know that he's been in so many households for years. I mean, 30 years on that show, and I think I read earlier in the Good Morning Show, thousands of episodes that he taped.
Yeah, 37 seasons. I mean, it's just amazing. He holds a record, actually. The Guinness Book of World Records has him as a leader in terms of number of shows that he's hosted. So when I think of Jeopardy, like you, Stacey, I think immediately of Alex Trebek, you know, watching the show with my grandparents growing up, and then my parents. And then the shows went, you know, to games like Nintendo and Atari, and then you could play at home and kind of have little home competitions to see who was the smartest one in the house. I mean, that's the kind of the impact that Alex Trebek and Jeopardy have made, I think, in most people's lives, is just that instant knowledge that, wow, how did he get that right? And not only that, but how to answer in the form of a question.
And he always used humor as kind of like a medicine as far as interacting with the crowds. I was reading up on him, and he said that one of his favorite parts of taping the shows, because most of them were pre-recorded, of course, was interacting with and joking with the crowds in between the taping sessions. He said he couldn't do that a lot on the actual show because there were so many clues to get through and it was so methodical. But I think we could still sense his humor in the various jests that he made to the various contestants. And I'm continuing to learn more about him and be inspired by him. We were all inspired after his pancreatic cancer diagnosis, his desire to continue fighting, saying that his fans were his family and they kept him going and he was not going to give up. I mean, that is a true testament to, I think, an all-American hero, someone who continues the fight and who is going to leave a lasting legacy for all the right reasons. Ed, I know you can agree.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly a man of character and integrity. But as I talked about earlier on the Good Morning Show, he taught us all a lesson. He really, you know, kind of took this cancer and fought it head on. He could have easily kind of, you know, curled up at home and been sad and, you know, exhibited self-pity and so on and so forth. None of that. He would have had none of that. He moved forward. He had courage. He kept working. And, you know, who knows? Maybe that helps to prolong life a little bit longer in some situations where you have a disease. But I think it was his character that really shined through towards the end of his life. Now, I want to say I've always been a Jeopardy fan, and I think he was the absolute perfect host for that show. And those categories were a real learning experience. Some of them, I had no clue about any of that. But I remember one time years ago, it popped up on there that one of the categories was meteorology. I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I got every one of them right. But that was a great show, and again, a great learning opportunity to learn on that show as well, with all those difficult answers, should we say, and then, of course, coming up with the question.
It was always exciting to see like your hometown represented or like
Yeah.
something you knew about in North Carolina. I remember when the Civil Rights Center Museum was a question on the board, and then also one of the questions, one of the North Carolina universities that doesn't have an S in their mascot's name. I'm like, the Wolfpack, I know that one, the Wolfpack, you know, and you start screaming it out because you're like, yes, I know something. But he also gave a little bit of insight after every clue that kind of made you learn a little bit more and get more connected to the question. So it was, you know, it was better than college. Let's say that. All right, Stacey, what are people saying on our feed?
A lot of great comments. Jason had a funny one. He said his favorite memories when they had a category on rap lyrics and he was saying them as best as he could. Pretty funny there. Let's see. Brittany said she doesn't know if she could ever watch Jeopardy again. Rest in heavenly peace, Alex Trebek. I think that's what a lot of people are just going to have a hard time is, you know, watching it and him not being the host. But of course, I'm sure that they're going to find a great replacement. Of course, no one can replace Alex Trebek, but someone that can continue his legacy on there. Heather said a lot of millennials like me grew up watching Alex on Jeopardy. He will be missed. Sandra says he fought a courageous battle with cancer. He will be missed. He always had such a positive attitude. Great man. A lot of people just sharing their love and their condolences to his family.
You know, Jeopardy's not only a game show, it has become a way of life. I mean, how often has someone told you a random tidbit of information, a fun factoid, and you said, oh, that could be a Jeopardy question someday. I mean, Alex Trebek made this show what it was, far beyond just a fun game with clues. It's really an inspiration to so many Americans and just was so much fun. It was our step away from reality, just to become immersed in the games and feel like you were getting smarter each time you watched it.
Yeah, and how important is it now to step away from reality every minute you can? So we'll definitely miss Alex Trebek. And, you know, that show airs weeknights here on WFMY News 2 at 7:30 and actually at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, too. There's an afternoon slot. So we'll keep you updated as we learn more about how the show plans to not only honor Alex Trebek, but move forward, which, you know, is something that he encouraged producers to do after he was gone, though I don't think anybody wanted to see this happen. So. Ed Matthews, is it too much to ask for a forecast to bring our cheers up?
I'll give it my best shot. I'll bring up your cheers because it is bright and sunny now. I think as we head through the afternoon, we'll start to see some clouds build. Overall, a great day, though. How about low in mid-70s? Could see a late day shower, maybe even a spritz of rain overnight, but a very, very low chance of that. But we start to increase the shower chances later Tuesday and Tuesday night with the approach of a cold front. That cold front will be right in our backyard by Wednesday, and with the anticipation that it's going to slow down, we could see kind of a prolonged period of unsettled weather for Wednesday right on through Friday with a pretty good shot of showers. Now, the good news is we stay warm in the low 70s right on through Thursday, and then we'll cool it back into the 60s for Friday and for the weekend. And as we look at the 7-day, I want to remind you we're going to keep a sharp eye on Tropical Storm Ada, expected to briefly become a hurricane and then maybe weaken again as a tropical storm, possibly moving up the East Coast late in the weekend or early next week. But that is not a definite at this point. It's going to meander over the eastern areas of the Gulf of Mexico for several days to come.
All right, we'll get in all of our outdoor fun today and tomorrow. If you didn't have enough over the weekend, you have a few more chances to sneak it in.
Yes.
I think a lot of us at Matthews are having fingers crossed for a really mild fall. I mean, that has been the saving grace for a lot of folks in feeling comfortable getting outside with the ongoing pandemic, to be able to do things socially distanced. And so we can hope that this warmer weather will at least have a few more spells before winter is in full force.
Yeah, take advantage of it. You know, I mean, and in the middle of winter, we can still have really warm and beautiful days. You know how it is in the mid-Atlantic region and in the Carolinas and Virginia. So every time we do have weather like we're having right now, take full advantage of it and enjoy every minute of it, because, yeah, there are going to be some colder days ahead for sure.
yeah.
Yes, and that is the true meaning of forecasting.
Yes.
Thank you, Ed Matthews. Thank you all for joining us here on After GMS. Always a pleasure having these great conversations with you. Join us tomorrow. We'll be back here at 7:45 for some more great conversations. Have a great day.